Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I just came up with this really Delta. I'm just talking. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have a super cool video planned for today. I was doing plant chores yesterday and I came up with the idea for this video because I was kind of looking around my collection and I realized, Delta. I was looking through my collection yesterday and I realized that I have some pretty cool plants, like plants that I don't feel like the average plant person might have heard of or even known. So I thought that today's video would be talking about those plants, and the ones that I put on today's list are ones that I have had for quite a while and have my stamp of approval. I'll go through the care and you know how I take care of each one as I go through it, but I made a list of 5 plants that I want to know if you have heard of, and if you haven't, I think you should add to your collection. Obviously there are a million different plants that we could talk about, so I was narrowing it down to plants that I have in my collection, plants that are tried and true for me, you know, ones that I would recommend to anybody because I personally have taken care of them myself. So obviously, like I said, there's going to be way more plants that, you know, you might not have heard of, but these are ones that I approve of, I guess. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, so that is what we are going to be talking about today. If you are interested in seeing what kind of plants I recommend that you may or may not have heard of, then keep watching. Okay, so I'm very excited to talk about the first one because she is in her prime right now. So this is a plant that you might have heard of if you follow Harley G, the OG plant queen. I've followed her for years, absolutely love her stuff, and she is the only person. What? There's no one there. Oh, it's the UPS. Yeah, I know. They're not coming here though. Like I was saying, the only person I've ever seen talk about this on like Planty YouTube, and obviously that's not to say that no one has, I just know that I'm a watcher of a lot of Planty social media and I've not heard that many people talk about it besides Harley. So this is the Adenia Glauca. I absolutely love this plant. She is quite long right now. To give you the whole picture, I have to hold it back like this. It is a Codex plant, so you can see the little stump. And it's cut like this because I cut it back last year. It was having some pest problems. It was like scale, and I'm pretty sure there was spider mites on there too, or thrips, I can't even remember now. But I did end up cutting it back and it has come back with a vengeance. It is growing so well for me right now. I was worried for a moment because it snapped, the stem snapped, I think right here, yeah. I can't even remember correctly, but I basically just like put it up and let it keep going and it mended itself. I don't even see where the break was. I'm pretty sure it was right here. But yeah, they're not here. They're not here. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for keeping us safe. You know, you look really scary with that comb on. I feel like I messed with my camera and it looks weird now. But we're just gonna roll with it. If it's out of focus, I sincerely apologize. Hopefully when I look through the footage, it's not bad. But I feel like it looks bad. Anyway, this plant is obviously stunning. It has the cutest foliage. You can see that there. It is so stunning. I'm not sure how long this is gonna grow to be, but it is so long right now that it's kind of weighing itself down. But this is, like I said, this is a Codex plant, so I think it will, you know, die back and then come back naturally. I just so happened to cut it. I've had this plant for, I want to say, 3-ish years. And I have to go back and look on my Etsy because I do know that that is where I purchased this plant. It wasn't expensive. I want to say it was only like $15, $12 to $15, so nothing crazy, but I had never seen it before. I don't even remember where I heard of it. I might have just seen it on Etsy and decided to buy it, but I absolutely love this plant. It looks like a little tree. I'm thinking I'm gonna try to like bonsai this I don't really know how to do that, but right now it's just kind of hanging down like this, but I do think it's gonna get so heavy that it might just fall. But that was the first one that I was so excited to talk about. Like I said, I have seen Harley on YouTube talk about this, but I don't know of anyone else that has. So if you do know this plant, please let me know. Let me know if you have one and how you care for it. I do keep mine in my south-facing window, which is right here. It's with my succulent and cacti collection that I have here. And I have this one up against the window because it needs that kind of trellis and it keeps it upright like this along the window, and it looks really cute. So pretty much the only thing I do for this one is let it completely dry out. Like I said, it is in highlight. South-facing light is very, very bright, so it does get extremely bright light here, and I do water it probably every 10 days. With Codex plants, and in my experience, they don't need a ton of water because they store all the water in that Codex. This is what mine is currently looking like right now. She's not huge or anything, but it's definitely bigger than it was when I first got it. So I know that the Codex is kind of growing down there and keeping the rest of the plant really happy. So yeah, that was the first one, Adenia Glauca. Let me know if you've had it. I absolutely love it and I approve, and I think you should get one. Okay, the next one is really interesting because it's a begonia, and I am not a begonia person. I have purchased many begonias lately. I even did a whole haul about the purchases of begonias that I've made from Botanicas. But this is a very specific begonia, and I'll show you why I am absolutely obsessed with it. So this is it right here. This is the Begonia Peltata. And I had never heard of this before. It's absolutely stunning, and I'm not sure if you can see. Hopefully the camera picks it up. It is fuzzy. I think you can see it better on the newest leaf. It is so fuzzy. I don't want to touch it because I have realized from, you know, my caring of it, if you touch the fuzziness, it goes away. Like the fuzziness comes off. I think there's certain places, you can't really see it right now, but like right here, I know I definitely touched that. You can see it like rubs off. Look at that. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever seen? But it just grows that way, like that new leaf. Look at how fuzzy that new leaf is. Not sure if you'll be able to see that. And it comes out like this super silver gray, and it eventually becomes more green, but I had never heard of this plant before. I also saw this on Etsy. Actually, I've gotten almost all of these plants on Etsy now that I'm thinking about it. 3 out of the 5. I got 3 out of the 5 on Etsy. I think that is a very cool place to get plants, in my opinion. I've gotten some really cool plants from Etsy. But I saw this when I was looking at begonias because sometimes I just browse. I said that on my Botanicas video that I just browse the begonias sometimes because there's so many cool types. And I saw this, it's not from Botanicas, but the seller had this and I thought it was the coolest begonia. It reminds me of my Begonia natuniensis. It has a very similar profile in terms of the round leaves and stuff, but it is a different growing pattern. I don't know if this one is cane. See how it grows? It only had this one leaf when I bought it. It was a very small plant. Maybe 3 months. 3 months of growth, and I've grown it into this cutie little guy. So it is a fast grower in my experience. I did repot it into this self-watering pot that I have here. The original nursery pot was like maybe that big, so it is a big up pot, but in my experience, a begonia can usually handle it. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't underwater it. So I did repot it into there maybe a month ago, and it's pushing out a new growth point and everything. I absolutely love this plant. Like I said before, I am no begonia expert, okay? I'm not the biggest begonia grower, and I don't have the best luck with some begonias, but this one has been growing for me so beautifully, and I just think it is the coolest thing ever. It's so soft. The camera's not gonna do it justice, but even the leaves are fuzzy. They're not here. Even the leaves are fuzzy, if you can see that. The stems are fuzzy. It is just so cool. When I did some research about this, it's a fairly common begonia, but I have never seen anyone talk about it. I've never seen anyone talk about it, and if they have, that's just me, you know, being ignorant. But I love this one, and I think every begonia lover, every plant lover needs to have it, because I literally just sit here and look at the foliage. Like I said, I'm trying not to touch it. I have touched it quite a few times, and I've messed up the fuzziness. So now it is just a plant to love and observe on and appreciate. I can't wait to see this one get big. I can't wait to see it. It's so stunning. I absolutely love it. It is just so unique. If you've heard of this one, let me know, because like I said, I'm not a begonia person, but I had never heard of this one, so it was news to me. But I think you absolutely have to have this in your collection. It is so freaking cool. It reminds me of a Paulensis as well in the leaf shape, but it doesn't have the ridges and it's fuzzy. So it does have some different characteristics, but I find myself really attracted to begonias that have this type of leaf shape. You know, not the angel wings. I find myself really liking whatever type of leaf shape this is. So yeah. Number 2 is Begonia Peltata, and I think you absolutely have to have this in your collection. I don't think you're gonna regret it. Number 3, it's a type of Haworthia. So I am personally an absolute lover of Haworthia. I have quite a few in my collection. I have the more basic ones and I have more rare ones. So if you've never heard of a Haworthia, there's a bunch of different kinds, and you see them at the big box store. They oftentimes look like this. I have one right here. They oftentimes look like this. They're very common at the big box store. Absolutely love them, but you can get some pretty rare, cool looking ones, and that's a third one that I am absolutely obsessed with that I'm gonna show you right now. So number 3 on plants that I think you need to have, I have the name right here because I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing it. I'll put it on there. This is a Haworthia Comptoniana Hakugei. Comptoniana Hakugei. That's what I'm gonna say. But I think this is just the coolest plant ever. I have some rocks in here. Let me take that out. Ooh, on the ground. Look at this plant, you guys. With the Haworthia, it has those like clear tops where you can see the stuff on the inside. But this one has the coolest pattern ever. I absolutely love this. This is the 3rd plant I got on Etsy. I saw this and it made me go down a rabbit hole of like rare Haworthia. I have plenty more that I could show you. If you're interested in seeing those, let me know. But I am a Haworthia lover, particularly the jewel ones, the ones where you can see the squishiness on the inside. And this one has been growing like an absolute dream for me. I got this when it was fairly small. There's just a dead leaf that I'm taking off. When I got this, it was probably like half the size. It was so tiny, and it has grown so well for me. And, ooh, dropping soil everywhere. But yeah, I absolutely love this plant. I love the pattern on the leaves, how it has that jewel look, but it's just slightly different. And it has that veination in there. I stare at this all the time, and I feel like the more light you give it, the more pattern it gets. I keep this one also in my south-facing window, and it just seems to love life. It is very pointy. It actually hurts my fingers sometimes, so keep that in mind. But it flowers all the time. I actually see one growing in there right now. Sorry about that, my camera died. But yeah, I just wanted to end off the Haworthia Comptoniana Hakugei. I said this one, but I think you really should just look into any type of rare jewel Haworthia if you are interested. Like I said, I did get this on Etsy, and I went down an absolute rabbit hole because there are so many and they are so cool. I'm probably gonna get so many more because I feel like it would make the perfect addition to my succulent and cacti collection that I have here, because they stay petite. That's another thing I love about them. Like I said, I think I've had this for almost 3 years now, 2 or 3 years, and it has only grown to this, and it's probably not going to get that much bigger. The Haworthias that I've had really only like make pups. They don't get humongous. That's really good if you're looking to save space in your collection as well, and it fits perfectly on my shelf here. So I absolutely love it. I highly recommend. I did say this specific one because it is of my favorite, but I do have other really cool ones. If you're interested in seeing the ones that I have, just let me know. So yeah, that is number 3. I think you absolutely need this Haworthia, and I don't think you're gonna regret it. Okay, what is number 4? My Pinguicula Razzberry Blonde. So I wasn't sure if people have heard of this one, but it was an overarching theme of, for me, if you do not have this, I feel like you absolutely need this plant. So if you have heard of Pinguicula, they are carnivorous plants. I absolutely love them. I have a whole bunch. I can show a picture, you know, what they look like. But I picked this one because it is just so breathtakingly beautiful. So this is my Pinguicula garden of my raspberry, but with a Z. Razzberry blonde Pinguicula. Here, I'll show you what the actual pings look like first. I have quite a few in here because they keep making babies and I just keep growing them. But I did dedicate this entire thing to raspberry blonde. So these are all raspberry blondes. One of the reasons I love this type of Pinguicula so much is the blooms. I'll show you here. These are what the blooms look like. They are so beautiful. They look different, in my opinion, than any other Pinguicula blooms that I have. Pinguicula come in a lot of different blooms, but in my experience, they are mainly purple. And pretty much every other one that I have is purple. I have a white one. I think I have a red one, but it hasn't flowered yet. But these are just standalone flowers, and it flowers so readily. These are not the biggest like Pinguiculas that I have, but they flower so much. Like this one right here is about to push out 2 more flowers. Can you see that? They flower so much. This one is about to push out another flower. And they are mature, but normally it takes my ping way more time to flower. Like they have to be full peak maturity before they push out a flower, versus these ones, they flower very, very easily. And I just think they are so beautiful. They catch fungus gnats. I saw a couple on the back of this flower. There's a couple fungus gnats. I'm not sure if you can see that. Maybe you can see that. Either way, just know if you have fungus gnats, they will be caught because this plant has like a sticky sap on it. It has quite a few on there. If you see the little black dots on the leaves, those are fungus gnats. The plant is catching them with its sap and eating them because it's a carnivorous plant. So I think that is just the coolest thing ever. And there was a time where this had like 7 different blooms on it. It was insane. It goes through like rounds of blooming in my experience. So it's probably about to hit another round because this one ping has 3 flowers. This one has 3 and this one has 1. So I'm about to have a whole garden of Pinguicula flowers in here. I'm absolutely obsessed. And pink, obviously, is one of my favorite colors. So I absolutely love this plant. I think it's an amazing beginner intro plant to ping. It is more expensive because it's a more rare type, but you can buy. The good thing about this is that I did buy one large size Pinguicula back in the day. I think it was like $40 or something, and I have gotten hundreds. When I say literally hundreds of babies from it, I have sold them, I have traded them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 babies just in here. So I have more than made my money back, especially considering what I've traded for this plant. And you can always make babies with the Pinguicula. They grow super easily. You just need to take a petal off, keep it in a warm, humid spot, and it'll grow kind of like a succulent. If you've ever propagated a succulent, they grow very similarly. And this one grows so fast. I'll look down here and there'll be a bunch of babies popping out all the time that I pull out and separate and, you know, give to friends and stuff. So highly recommend this one. I think absolutely everyone needs this. If not raspberry blonde, just a Pinguicula in your life, just to give it a try. But this is the one I recommend just because it's so different with the blooms. It grows super easily and it is so stunning. I just love it. It's so cute. Yeah, absolutely love. Love. What's next? Okay, so number 5 is actually being watered as we speak, so I'm gonna go get that. So this plant is number 5. It does not look like much right now. It was just getting watered, so she is not in her prime. but this is a Bulbophyllum Medusae. And the reason I absolutely love this plant so much is because it has the most insane blooms. I'm gonna have to look through my phone. I don't even remember the last time it bloomed for me because this has gone through a rerooting process for me. I'm definitely not the biggest orchid person. Like, I only have a few. Well, for me, I probably have like 10 at this point. So I guess I do have quite a few, but I wouldn't say I'm the greatest with them. And I did rot the roots on this probably last year, but I managed to take cuttings and grow it back. So this is, you know, fully rerooted. I have it here in this orchid pot. And she seems okay enough. Yeah, I'm calling it a win because I've seen new growth come out and everything, so I'm gonna take the win where I can get it, you know what I mean? And yeah, I absolutely love this plant. The reason it is on today's list is because I know when people talk about orchids, a lot of people talk about Phalaenopsis orchids. I do not have any Phalaenopsis orchids. I don't love the way they look and I don't love their growth pattern, but I love Bulbophyllum. I have quite a few in my collection. This one came to the top of the list for me because it has the most show-stopping blooms in my opinion. They are so cool. It's obviously named after Medusa because it's Bulbophyllum Medusae, and it has these like white puffball but like long stringy blooms. It is so stunning. I've gotten it to bloom for me 2 or 3 times. So I've had it for quite a while, but like I said, we're in the rerooting process, so I'm not expecting blooms anytime soon. But I just absolutely love this plant so much. I think everyone needs, if not this particular plant, they need a Bulbophyllum because they are super fun to grow. Minus the rotting problem, that was all on me, but I think everyone needs to try an orchid because they are easy to care for in my opinion and high reward when you get those blooms. I have another orchid blooming right here. I have it on the table because the blooms are so beautiful. It's like blooming in a very interesting way. It has one bloom right here, one bloom right here, and one bloom right here. It's like boop, boop, boop. She has made it to the dining room table because she's just so cute. So cute. The blooms on this one are a nice red color. I don't know the name of this orchid. I gotta be so for real with you. But absolutely love them. I think when they bloom, they are so stunning. I think that's about it. Yeah, this is definitely gonna go in the fastest video I've ever filmed. I only have 5 to show you today. Like I said, if you're interested in seeing more of my collection, the weird, unusual ones that you might not have heard of, let me know and I could definitely film probably another 5 or maybe even 10 more. Because like I said, when I was looking through my collection this morning, I was like, dang, I have cool plants. I pride myself in, you know, going above and beyond. I think common plants are beautiful as well, and I have plenty in my collection, but when a plant I have never heard of catches my eye, it's kind of that extra oomph for me. It makes me feel like, you know, that I have something that not everybody has, and it's just, you know, that part of plant collecting that I love more than anything. So if you feel the same way, let me know. I'm sure there are people out there because we love weird plants. Let me know how many of these plants you have heard of because, like I said, I don't feel as though the average plant owner is gonna have heard of a lot of these. If you've heard of all 5, I love it. You are just as planty obsessed as I am. Amazing. So yeah, that was about it. That was a quick one. I just wanted to show you guys some plants that I am currently loving in my collection that I want to know if you have heard of them as well, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Say bye, Delta. Yeah, bye. Bye.
Thought that I would be a bit at peace by now.